How's it going, everybody? Today I'll be talking about the Anchor PowerPort Solar and some other solar panels. We're charging two RAV power battery banks to show how much of a charge or amperage I could get. Right now I'm getting about 1.69, charging both of these, getting about 0.8 amps per battery. We'll have to divide that by 2 since the meter is connected to both of them and we're only using one port. Next we have the Aukey solar panel. The Aukey can charge at roughly 1.6 to 1.7. And we're in pretty much full sunlight right now. So I'm getting a charge at 1.7 maximum. These ports can handle 2 amps, so it's not even hitting the max of the port, which means that the maximum of that solar panel was 1.7. Now when we look at the big blue right here, it's a 28 watt. It's the biggest of all these portable solar panels that I have, and it is able to charge with one port fully at 2 something amps. So it advertises 2.4, but being able to charge about 2.1 to 2.2 is already very good. So definitely the big blue can do it, and it's charging very well. Out of all these solar panels, this is the highest efficiency. There's 4 panels in them in this setup, which allows maximum light captivation. So let me show you guys the batteries. They're actually being charged, and it's about 1 amp each going to them. Now if I was to connect one of them, it would be getting the 2 amps directly, which would allow fast charging for that. Next we have a GRDE, and it's charging at 1.6, so each of the battery banks are getting about 0.8. This X Dragon right here is probably the worst one. It's also the smallest. It's a 14 watt double panel solar portable charger. And it charges at roughly 0.9 for both of them. So that means each battery is only getting 0.5. Now if we take a look at this big blue 5-volt portable solar panel, it is connected with one connection and it's getting 0.8. And so it was getting about 2 point something. So if I disconnect this and I reconnect them both onto the meter and then plug it back in, you'll see what I mean with the maximum efficiency. The capacity of this solar panel is about 2 amps per. But when we disconnected it, it was still only about 0.8 or 0.9 per plug. So before it was doing about 0.8 for both, but now it's doing 1.46 for one. And when I connect that back in, you'll see that I will be only doing roughly 0.6 to 0.7. So for each port that I'm using, out of these 3 ports, I'm using one of the ports and I'm getting about 0.6, and the other one is getting roughly about 0.62 when used together. The same thing will be tested here on the X Dragon. When it's single, it's 1 amp. But when I connect both of them, it's still about 1 amp. So what that means is I took that 1 amp and I split it, and both of them are getting about 0.5 if I did it that way. So definitely this is a single device charger up to 1 amp. This is what the X Dragon can do. And the big blue can do actually up to 2 point something amps. So it can charge 2 devices at 1 amp. Much better then this can charge 2 devices at 0.5 amps, which is barely enough. It's like worse than trickle charging. So if you only have one device to charge, I would recommend the X Dragon for its price. But next we have the GRDE portable solar panel at 24 watts, charging only both devices, was doing 0.69, but right now with both devices hooked up together, it's doing 1.6, so it's about 0.8 per device. And so we get the maximum capacity of the Anchor as well. And within the Anchor, if you take a look at both devices set up on here, it resets, and we're doing only about 0.5 for each, but it is gaining some light, and so it's adjusting upward, and we will get to about 1.5, which is about 7.7 something amps per device. So I hope that was helpful. All in all, the Big Blue gave out the most amperage, and it was indeed like advertised 28 watts, in which it was higher than the rest, but none of them actually does exactly the wattage that they say. If you look at the USB part of the controllers, they can say that it's rated 2.4 amps each USB slot, but in reality the whole device can only get up to about 2 amps on a 5 volt.